starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome in to Wednesday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brendan Schaefer here. It's the middle of the week, and today we just kind of go on our own whims a little bit. We give our own predictions as to what this crazy college football coaching carousel will bring. Are we ready, Brendan, to make predictions as to who will land where today?
As long as we're comfortable knowing that we're going to get like 2% of them correct, then sure, let's go for it.
Yeah. We do not plan to get any of this right, but we will get our thoughts out there. That's for sure. So in a few minutes, you can tell us who you think is going to land where at 875-KTGR as we give our predictions coming up here soon. We update our SEC football tiers like we do every week. Those are ironclad. Like those are flawless. Those are always well done, well-researched, well thought out, more so than the coaching carousel stuff. Brendan and I don't mess around when it comes to that.
No, definitely not.
That's all tidied up, as are the top 5, bottom 5 NFL teams, which we will also have today.
And I think the Chiefs belong nowhere near either group, but we will see if Andy agrees.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. 875-KTGR if you want to give us your top 5, bottom 5 NFL teams or your predictions on the coaching carousel. Lots to get to there. And you can do so by calling or texting us or tweeting us at KTGR Big Show. You can also go to our YouTube channel where we're live right now, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. Leave a comment there. Subscribe if you don't already. We're also live on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Hey, that's cool. Mizzou's back in the college football playoff top 25. It's better than not being there. They're number 22 in the country this week, according to that poll. They also returned to the AP top 25 this week after their victory over Mississippi State this past weekend to move to 7-3 overall and 3-3 in the SEC. Now, tonight, we'll learn the first bit of info about the status of quarterback Bo Pribula on the SEC availability reports as he's trying to work back from a dislocated ankle, and there's optimism, according to the reports, that he could return this weekend against the Oklahoma Sooners, who are ranked number 8 in the country. Pre-game with the England Tiger Game Day show begins at 8 a.m. on Saturday right here on KTGR, and then kickoff, of course, is at 11 a.m. That is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 19th day of November 2025. You can call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. If you want to weigh in on all of that, we also are going to give our predictions now when it comes to the college football coaching carousel. We don't expect to get any of it right.
Nope, because it's a tangled web. When one guy takes one job, that means his job maybe opens up. But if he doesn't take the job, his job probably doesn't open up in that same way. Maybe this guy's going over here. It's very difficult, I think, in terms of the puzzle of it all. But I thought we need to kind of talk about the thing that people are talking about right now, which is the coaching carousel. I just saw a tweet from Gabe Yarman, Power Mizzou, where he said, look, nothing with Eli Drinkwitz is going to happen for the next 10 days. But he said the coaching carousel would be the best reality TV show ever. And I think that is so true with just all the machinations, then the twists and turns that it takes.
I mean, the fact that we are in tracking flight phases now, I mean, that's already ramped up and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So I think the reasonable place to start would be within the SEC, I suppose.
Sure.
Let's go to LSU. Actually,
let's talk about LSU. That's the biggest one. That's the craziest one.
I agree.
Who are some candidates? Who could we see? Who could we see at LSU?
Well, obviously Lane Kiffin's a candidate.
I think they want him. I think Florida wants him.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss would like to keep him. That's probably be the best if he just goes to Penn State or something. No, not anything we're expecting. No, I think he'll be at one of those 3 schools next year. I have my lean on which one I'm expecting. But what do you think about LSU? LSU kind of like Florida seemed to be the front runner if Lane was going to leave. Florida seemed to be the one that was the biggest threat. Then LSU opens up. Their situation gets crazy with the way the governor of the state of Louisiana gets involved.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know. You have to have a screw loose maybe to take that job, but also I think it's probably the most high profile of the openings.
I have a feeling that the way that these college football coaches are wired, they'd be like, bring it on. Like, I get a top 5 job in the country. Like, I can deal with all the rest of the bleep. Like, it's just, it's a top 5 job in the country. The only head coach to not win a national championship there within this century was the one they just fired, Brian Kelly. Every other coach that they have had has won a national championship.
That's crazy.
At his time there.
Yeah.
Since the year 2000.
That's a hard job to say no to.
Yeah.
All the chaos notwithstanding.
Right.
I don't know who that gets offered that job necessarily that says no to it. What do we think here? Like, Kiffin's going to be a candidate. Florida's going to want him too. Yeah. Do you think he takes LSU? Do you think they can compel him, woo him, convince him, or do they have to move further down their search list?
I think Kiffin stays at Ole Miss.
I actually do too.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I think he's doing all of this theater of like tweeting and doing all this craziness because it's gonna make for even more of a, I don't know. There's a wow factor when he eventually tells him he's sticking by. That's my current prediction, is that he's going to stay at Ole Miss.
I think that's where I would lean too. And he just
it's weird that he had his family flying all over the place. That's weird, but I think something tells me he's going to stay at the end of it all.
He will get a huge bag. He will get the NIL support. He'll get everything. And Ole Miss, I'm sure, will give it to him. So I think he stays too. So that leaves other candidates.
And that, by the way, him staying at Ole Miss, I think would be brutal for Missouri's chances to keep Drink. Because I think that's one additional job that a desperate AD and a desperate board of people that have, that can talk to the boosters. I think it gets to be even more appealing, and those people are going to be like, we got to get somebody good, and then Drink is an option at those places. True.
I think for the sake of this exercise, though, I'm going to operate as if Eli Drinkwitz is staying, actually.
I don't think he's staying. I hope I'm wrong. I'm like 65-35
that he goes,
because of how many openings there are and because of how many are going to have him as a top 2
I'm
candidate.
as close to 50-50 as you can get.
Really?
For the sake of this, I will just I'll say he stays. And that he is able to get the support that he needs, or hears the things that he needs to hear in the conversations. What
about all the NIL talk? What about? I mean, he's not saying that stuff for no reason.
I'm not saying that I for sure think he's staying. Like, there are tons of reasons that'll be thrown out there that he could go. I just for the sake of this, I won't operate that way. I don't know, but
I'm going to do it differently.
Okay,
I think, but right. I won't have any idea.
So does he take any of those jobs?
I'm going to rank my prediction likelihood. I think Penn State is most likely. I think LSU is actually second most likely, and then Florida.
Okay.
I think any of them could be in play.
Auburn? Not Auburn.
Oh, well, Auburn actually is a really good call. That could actually be the answer. I think LSU is like, if they whiff on Kiffin because he goes to Florida or he stays at Ole Miss, Sumrall, I think, is going to be the Tulane coach. I think is going to be of interest to both LSU and Florida at that point, I would think. But he can only go to one of those jobs.
There's apparently a recent report that Sumrall was going to meet with Florida, but then there was an updated report to that report saying that actually it's not going to happen. It's very interesting.
So
Sumrall, I think, true there.
Sumrall could be LSU.
I actually think Sumrall is going to be Auburn. If you ask me, yeah, I'm gonna slate Sumrall for Auburn. And if not, or if I'm sure he would prefer LSU, but maybe they don't go for him, and then I would think that Auburn would swoop him up and get him.
So who do you have for LSU?
That's tougher.
And you can you don't have to be like,
right. No,
put your money on the line. Just get some candidates.
Brent Key's a candidate.
I think he stays at Georgia Tech as well. That would be crazy though, because cut me open and see what colors I bleed. Like
That's
we were
not,
waiting
but
for.
that's not an I'm staying. That's the
No,
thing.
it's not.
Like,
But we were waiting for Drink to give us one of those, and he hasn't.
Right.
Because I think part of this, by the way, too. I don't know if you've seen the video surfacing from 2019, the day before Drink takes the Mizzou job. He's talking about the App State job, and basically he says, "I'm not in any hurry to leave." He did say, like, I'll have to explore opportunities and talk with my family if those are opportunities out there. But there's some parallels to the way that Drink spoke about leaving App State to come to Mizzou, and then what he has said this week. There are obviously some big differences.
Yeah.
I mean, his salary, I don't know, went X8 or times 10 going from App State to Mizzou. Obviously, Mizzou would be prepared to, he as he said, I've got the money. It's not really about the money for me. But that's kind of one thing that I do think about where Brent Key makes the decision to, didn't say I'm staying. Didn't say what Kenny Dillingham has come out and said is I was never going anywhere.
Right.
But that would be a crazy one to go, cut me open and see what colors I bleed, because he's a Georgia Tech alum, right? That one,
he is.
I expect him to stay.
And
Same thing with Clark Lee, by the way, with
thing
Vandy.
to do that. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think
I would
so
be
too.
shocked if he would leave.
I think he's more likely to stay at Vanderbilt than Brent Key is to stay at Georgia Tech. But
interesting.
That is that. I mean, you got to lock him down somehow. I think Vanderbilt can't rest on its laurels there, even though he's an alum too. I think you gotta play the game the same way. This is just fascinating around Summerall. This from Zach Olbalverdi. UF scheduled meeting with John Summerall has been called off, and Summerall is removing his name from the mix in Florida's coaching search per Pete Nakos of On 3.
So can I just predict Summerall to LSU right now?
He can. I think
why else would he do that?
That's probably true. So, I think we just predict John Summerall for LSU, and then for that, I will make my prediction on Auburn then. I think they get Kenny Dillingham.
The one who said I'm not leaving and I was never leaving?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This could be, I mean, it's already probably the wildest coaching carousel we've ever had.
Yeah.
And of course, Lane Kiffin being at the center of it. For Lane Kiffin to not go anywhere, and that would inspire it to be even more wild, there's something very beautiful about that, I think.
Yeah.
But I truly have no idea. If it's not Drink for Auburn, I don't really know what I would say. I would say that I think Eric Morris is coaching a Power 4 next year.
Okay.
If it's Auburn or if it's Arkansas or if it's Missouri, I would love it to be Missouri.
I think it's likely to be one of those jobs that opens up as a result of Auburn filling, LSU filling,
and Missouri's
Florida
in that category if that happens.
Yeah.
But I like Eric Morris a lot. If Drink decides to leave, I will be talking about him every single day that follows. North Texas's head coach, Drew Mestamaker, is the quarterback. He's the quarterback whisperer. That would be a consolation to Drink leaving, which I really hope he doesn't. Okay, so Florida, what happens there? You think Lane's staying at Ole Miss, and I agree with you. What do we do about Florida?
So if Summerall's at LSU and then Dillingham's at Auburn, then I think Florida then pivots to Brent Key. I would say Brent Key is pretty likely when it comes to that.
This is so crazy because, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but a lot of the names that you are putting in these different spots, I don't think are even leaving. Maybe I'm naive. Except I think Drink's leaving because he's the one that said he's the one that hasn't said he's staying.
Everything can change in a week and a half, man.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's going to.
Like everyone's saying words right now. The words mean little to nothing. So like, and we'll see who actually is telling the truth going forward. But I really do think that Brent Key's going to get a lot of calls, and there might be one that he can't refuse, and that might be the one. Because I don't know if the fit is great at Penn State. I think LSU will lock in on other people, but I think Florida then would have enough resources and not a huge regional change either, to be able to lure him away, I think.
Man, I don't know what to do with some of these where, like, okay, like a Jeff Brom, I could see him leaving.
Yeah.
I could see him maybe being in the mix when it comes to Florida. If the Summerall thing is weird, like this all just happened today, where it looked like for a
within
moment,
an hour.
yeah, that he was going to be in the mix there and then not. Okay, so I'm still kind of sorting through. and thinking about this. Let me jump to Penn State and ask you there, because I think I said since middle of October in my own private world, like I'm thinking Drink to Penn State is a real thing that could happen.
Yeah.
What do you do with Penn State? Is it as simple as Brian Hartline? Because I do think he ends up somewhere.
It could be that. There are a lot of guys in the mix, though. It could be him. It could be Bob Chesney at James Madison.
He's apparently in deep with UCLA, but Penn State interviewed him as well, and they're kind of, I don't know if they would offer it to him or if I like him. By the way, he would be second on my Mizzou list if I needed one.
Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Now that's one that you really got to give a big offer to, because he has turned down multiple.
That's the perennial
to jump ship.
That's one guy that probably would. That's one guy that probably would turn down LSU.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm turned down so many things. If I'm going to do it, it's for something stable, for something
stay true to it. And so, and look, credit to him. He's done a pretty good job over there. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know if I would predict it to happen, but I think someone has to give this guy a job. Maybe not this high profile of a job, but this name needs to be talked about a little bit more. Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. Northwestern had a weird situation,
but
with
he was
his
acquitted
exit.
of it all.
He was.
And to the point where Northwestern fired the university president because he fired Pat Fitzgerald prematurely for what ended up being without cause, and they owe him $70 million now. So like that, that seems like a university screw up to me. With all that,
we're on the rise at Northwestern of all places with him.
Yeah, who wins at Northwestern?
Nobody.
Nobody. That's
would
pretty
you take him?
Impressive.
If we had to replace Drink, would you take him?
I'd think about it. Yeah.
That's fair. I'd probably have some questions, but
no, I'm
absolutely
sure anybody would. Like
anybody interviewing him would.
But if you're willing to take on that short-term optics challenge, once you get to the games, it ain't going to matter. Like, is he winning for you or not? And I think he can for somebody.
Yeah.
And how much NIL did they get there? Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Right? They are building a new stadium, but
they're in Chicago, right there nearby. But
there's a lot of Fortune 500 companies there.
Mm-hmm.
But how many of them are fired up about Northwestern football? I'm sure more so now than all of it. The hazing stuff.
That was a few years ago.
It wasn't that long ago. It was within the last couple of years.
It was the beginning of last year, like 2 weeks before the season.
So like it all happened kind of suddenly, and
or part of that 2023. It was July.
I was gonna say it feels like it's been a couple years.
Right.
Fired in July of 23, so right before the 24 season. So he's been out of the game for 2 football seasons as a head coach. This will have been the second one. Yeah, I don't know who. I think Penn State. If Drink stays at Missouri, I really think Brian Hartline could be interesting to go there.
Sure.
To Penn State, because I think somebody's gonna the Chesney thing. If I'm Bob Chesney, I would, and I really think Penn State's interested in me. I would kind of draw that out. UCLA is probably trying to get him locked up, and another Jimmy Sexton, client. Where if he's using this as leverage to get more money over here and is happy to take the UCLA job, maybe we'll find that out. But yeah, I'll go. I do think the Auburn thing you mentioned with Drink, I kind of put that in the back of my mind, and I would hate to think he would leave here for Auburn. Would that be the one that would bug me the most? Would be Auburn, just because what do they have going on that we don't, is kind of my attitude. Like LSU, sure. Florida, even, sure. Auburn, yeah, I guess they've been
the pitches that they've won a national championship within the century. Not very many places can say that. Like, this is what's possible here. Get the right talent in the room, and we can go to the highest level. Like, that's the pitch.
Yeah.
There is proof of concept there. But, I mean, look, today, they're on similar tiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Auburn and Mizzou. Like,
there's no doubt about that.
Pretty close together. So, like, it'd be a hard thing, but I don't think off the table.
What do you think, Billy?
Well, I was going to say the other thing is there's been kind of routine gripes from Drinkwitz about fan attendance, and not just fan attendance, but like home field advantage.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be, maybe that doesn't factor in as much as we think. The other name I was going to throw at you, gentlemen, was Jed Fish. inherited a dumpster fire at Arizona,
That
turned
was
that around.
That was an
pretty
impressive
quick.
job by him.
DeBoer left the cupboard bare 2 years ago. I know they struggled, but this year they seem to be back on. I don't know if you guys know this. He got his first job as a grad assistant in Florida, left a sticky note on Steve Spurrier's windshield. So I don't know. If he gets a call from Gainesville, he might go corner to corner.
That would be interesting. No, I didn't know all that information. Yeah, he's and that's one that's like it's under the radar a little bit if you're just looking at the record going, well, what's he doing? Well, consider what he was taking over and then, the circumstances of all of that means he's probably a pretty good coach if he's doing all those things. It's hard to know with like geography, but as you said, Billy, like he's got experience there. What do you think about the fan support thing though, that Billy mentioned from, I guess, Drinkwitz's perspective, but I think it's applicable to Ole Miss as well. With Lane Kiffin was asked about, Ole Miss kind of being a blue blood atmosphere and everything with the win over Florida. And do we feel like Ole Miss is at that level? He said, well, it was this week. Were you here for Citadel? And like coaches, I mean, Citadel, you're playing Citadel in November and you're complaining that it's not filled to the brim for 4 quarters.
Don't schedule them in November then. Like, that's the problem.
It's a weird one, but like the coach is the one that can decide. But he's the one that can decide to leave. Is my point? Like,
right.
It's not his decision or his fault, but the people that end up losing are the fan base if he decides that it's an aspect of why he's going to depart. I think Penn State is another place that probably supports, and they've got the white out, and that's like I feel like that's probably got a leg up on Mizzou. If you're talking about from Drink's perspective, the fan support is ravenous, I think, and Drink has had to almost inspire that to be the case here with the 20 straight sellouts. Like he had to do a lot of the lifting, the heavy lifting for that, which is another thing that scares me. And oh, by the way, I don't think it's for nothing that this schedule is going to be brutal no matter what SEC school you coach at next year.
Yeah.
I think it's the easy way out of the SEC bloodbath without it looking like, oh, I'm leaving because I'm afraid of a challenge. It's like the perfect crime to be able to go somewhere and not have the public perception be, oh, you were just shying away from a challenge. No, he's going up to another job if he takes Penn State.
Right.
That's what scares me. And because of how savvy he is in every regard, like he knows all of these things. He doesn't have to be told these things. He knows them for himself.
Daniel texting in, what about Arkansas? What about Arkansas? He says Bobby P. There's no way that's happening.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
It's not gone well.
It maybe would have happened if he had won a game since he's taken over, but he hasn't.
Hey, what about this? We throw the battle line to him just to
see if they would think about him.
Take the bait,
take the interim tag off. Hey, that would be next level thinking. If Eli Drinkwitz were to stay, he could. No, don't do that.
My Eric Morris fear would be Arkansas. That would be unfortunate. I really like him.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Drink, to be clear, but I don't know if I'm going to get that.
That seems
choice.
Like a natural fit, though, right?
Yeah, I know.
Pretty close.
North Texas is where he's at right now.
Yeah, I don't know. And look, Jed Fish, I think could be.
I like that call
in the mix for that. Could be in the mix for Florida, even though. Like
Jed Fish, I think to Florida would be definitely in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't know about Arkansas. Would he take that? Would he leave Washington for Arkansas?
That's a hard decision, I think. I don't think so. Yeah.
They almost lost to Winthrop in basketball last night. Things are not going well.
No, they're not. No. And again, but again, there's that aspect of it. John Calipari needs a big slice of the pie himself too. And so look, football's still going to be king there, but maybe less so than at other SEC schools. And so, and like he wouldn't even have to worry about that at Washington. He could stay put at Washington and be in a better situation, I think. So,
yeah, and that like cozy middle of the Big Ten feels like it's easier to break through into the top 5 of the Big Ten in a given year. And if they change the playoff and expand it where, 6 Big Ten teams and 6 SEC teams have a crack at it.
In the situation that there's been a pretty clear guard at the top, like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Indiana made the meteoric rise all of a sudden to make that happen. But it's kind of hard to break through that tier, if you will, for a lot of those teams.
It is currently, but if they expand it to a 24 team or a 30 team playoff, that's where I feel like the Big Ten becomes even more attractive, because I think that 5 through 8 on a given year is a lot more malleable and workable if you're one of those teams like a Washington.
It's very interesting. Call or text us with your predictions for the college football coaching carousel, 573-875-KTGR. Again, we expect to get 0 of these things right, but we will try our best to make our predictions going forward.
What are you most confident in? What's the prediction you're most confident in?
Summerall to LSU.
I think I'm most confident in Lane staying at Ole Miss.
Yeah, well,
I don't know why.
I guess that'd be contingent upon that.
Why do we both think that?
He's all in for he is all in for the spotlight and the show and everything like that.
I think he's told
along
his
with
family,
being
like,
a very good football coach that has built Ole Miss up to a very high level. So like that should be commendable. But he also is, the showman type. So
if let's say he does leave, and Penn State goes with one of the other guys, Hartline or Chesney, and Summerall maybe lands at, let's say, Lane to Florida, Summerall to LSU. Auburn gets Brent Key or something.
Yeah.
Do you think Drink would take Ole Miss, or is that one that we wouldn't have to worry about?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I think he'd be good.
I would like to believe that that's the case. Ole Miss and Missouri kind of in a similar...
Oh, they've been that way for the last couple of years, man.
Yeah.
Now this year's different. Ole Miss finally broke through, but
yeah, they did. But we broke through with them in 2023. It just didn't count for the playoff yet.
Exactly. And Ole Miss would have been right there too.
They would
have also got gypped by that, but finally put it all together. Call or text us with your predictions, 573-875-KTGR. We'll get more of those in. We'll get
You said they put it all together. They still have to play the Egg Bowl, so we'll see.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be an anything can happen in the Egg Bowl, especially when Kling is involved. We will get our bottom 5 SEC teams on paper when we return next.
You say SEC or NFL?
Did I say NFL or SEC?
You said SEC. I just want to make sure I know which one we're doing.
We'll eventually do that too.
But we're doing NFL,
yes,
right?
bottom 5 NFL teams.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sorry, thank
just
you.
Arkansas 5 times.
Yeah, that's true. Next, you're on the Big Show.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
If you're fed up with promised promotions that never come through, or you simply feel overworked and underpaid, maybe it's time for a change. Make sure your job search starts at midmohires.com. There, you can browse lots of local companies hiring for their next superstar employee. Plus, these are local jobs, so you don't have to up and move your whole family just to find a job that you enjoy. If you're looking to move up the ladder, start looking at the job openings posted at midmohires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. midmohires.com.
Hey, y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. November is the month for giving thanks. But here's something we're not thankful for. Ground turkey. But seriously, have y'all ever tried to make a burger out of that meat? No matter what you do, it is dry. You know what you will be thankful for? Our famous Billiards burger. No turkey required.
Looking home down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
No turkey burgers were made in the making of this commercial.
The Big O Tires Black Friday sale is on. It's the biggest sale of the year. Now through December 7th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th free on select sets. That's right. Buy 3 tires and get the 4th free. And the savings don't stop there. Get up to $120 off select sets of Michelin tires. Get rolling with huge savings before they're gone. Only at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires. The team you trust.
We got you covered at Big O.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut. They care, educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. From pruning to removal to planting, their expertise goes beyond the surface. They're known for properly planting trees, removing burlap and wire cages from the root ball to ensure long-term growth and strength. With expert service and yearly discounts, your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
This is Nevada Schauke with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors. And I'm the exterior director of sales. In the construction industry, the last few years, we've had a roller coaster ride. One thing that has stayed pretty consistent or common is that vendors have continued to raise prices on materials. We have called up to collaborate with some of our large vendors that we work with to offer some year-end promotions. If you're looking to replace your roof, upgrade your deck to composite, replace your old worn-out windows and doors, give us a call. We also offer several financing options to meet most budgets. Your project must be purchased by the end of the year. This is a unique opportunity to save some money on your next home renovation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Give us your wild and crazy college football coaching carousel predictions. 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show with Andy and Brendan as it starts to heat up over the next couple of weeks. Of course, you're probably in the flight tracking phase now, which, by the way, just a heads up when it comes to that. And I believe Eli Hoff and the Mizzou fan account Cole also pointing this out. If you're in Columbia and you're tracking flights into Columbia when it comes to trying to figure out where they're coming from, places like, Gainesville or Baton Rouge or other spots like that, keep in mind that this weekend, the NCAA cross-country championships are in Columbia, Missouri. So there will be flights in from a lot of different locations.
That's awesome.
Perfect cover.
Exactly.
Actually perfect cover.
Hey, but Eli Hoff pointing out a way that you can maybe kind of distinguish whether it's what the purpose of the flight kind of is. There sometimes can be an indication of what is actually on the flight. So
okay,
there you go. Just be aware of that when you go on your flight tracking site.
I might let everybody else do it for me. I can't get that deep into the weeds. It won't be good for my mental health.
Yeah, I mean, I tried doing it once. It's kind of hard to figure out sometimes, at least for me. I don't know about everybody
But I'll keep
else.
watching on Twitter to see the people that have the time and energy to do it and the know-how to do it.
There you go. So happy perusing. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. All right. Bottom 5 NFL teams. Last update was, I think, last month. But I don't have many changes from it. I had the Ravens in my bottom 5 last time. Like
Me
that,
too.
that
They
can't
deserved it at
happen
the time.
anymore. Yeah,
They deserved it at the time.
At the time, but they've done.
They're closer to top 5 now, honestly.
I mean, who knows? But who do you have at your very bottom? Let's go from the bottom on up.
So I had the Jets at the worst the last time we did this, and I feel like, I mean, they went 2-2 since then. Billy, how are the Titans doing? How's their season going?
Oh man.
Say the name of that team again.
The Titans, Tennessee.
Well, I'll tell you this: they almost won on Sunday. Did you guys see that? That was fun.
Yeah, they played Andy's team, didn't they?
They almost won. They did.
That would have been quite
What's that
crushing.
word in the standings? How does that? I don't know how to apply that to my standings other than to say 1-9. I'm just going to put them at 32.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, they're the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's pretty clear at this point. I already had them there before we did in our last update, and so there's no reason to take them out. So yeah, but I have the Jets at 31.
Me too.
Even though they've won a couple games.
Yep.
There's still a lot of turmoil.
A lot of teams at 2-8, 2-9 vying for opportunities.
Yeah,
here,
man,
though.
it's gonna be interesting race for the number 1 seed or the number
draft pick,
number 1 pick. So we'll see who gets it. But Tennessee in the driver's seat right now. But man, the Jets look bad. And they're benching Justin Fields now.
We got to get some Brady Cook starts out of this. If there's anything
eventually, right?
To make it worth our time.
If you think Justin Fields ain't worth it, well, then try another young guy instead of Tyrod Taylor, who's not your future. So yeah, Jets are 31. Who's your 30?
My team at number 30. I think I'll go with. Let me put the Raiders there.
That's fair.
they look brutal against the Cowboys. I know that's kind of recency bias from Monday night, but everybody's scoring points on the Cowboys, and the Raiders just couldn't. And they're a team that like really made moves to try, right? They brought in a head coach who's 100 years old. They brought in a quarterback who's 50 years old, and they're like, this is going to be great. I'm like, I don't know that it is. And it hasn't been. And so you at least, if you do that, if you do the Geno Smith thing, you're at least hoping to like scratch across a 7-10 type of season, 8-9, be in the wild card mix for a minute. They're nowhere close. Yeah, I feel confident in the Raiders at 30, and I maybe should have even put them lower, but I'll stop. I'll stop there at 30.
You know, you convinced me. I didn't have them here. I had them a spot above, but that's a good argument that they should be more punitive because they fell very flat on their face with the moves that they made, and you could kind of foresee it. I know there were a lot of folks that were going to be in on Geno Smith, maybe being able to continue his run of success that he found in Seattle, but that didn't materialize, and now you're left with the old head coach in Pete Carroll that clearly is not your future either. So,
right. And that, by the way, is a reason that's
why Geno's there.
Well, it's why he's there. And I compare it to the situation with the Titans a year ago, where like, we're going to sign Calvin Ridley. We're going to spend money and sign Tony Pollard. And like, now we're advancing and saying, oh, those didn't elevate you. And so it's like you set yourself actually back even further.
Right.
With some of the deals that you make.
So like the organization is trying to do its job, but the team itself is kind of falling flat on the face of that and not allowing those deals to be worth it to them.
But you also you have to recognize if that's going to be something that happens. Like,
sure,
are these moves going to get us to where we want to go, or are we just delaying the inevitable of then having to do another reset after Pete Carroll?
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think the Raiders should be at 30. I had the Saints there at 30 before, but I'll move them up to 29.
Actually, when I started talking, I had the same thing, but then I kept thinking about the Raiders, and I was like, no, they deserve it.
Like it is deserved for the Raiders. But the Saints, like, I know their last game was them beating the Panthers, weren't terrible. And then they've lost to some tough teams since then. They have had pretty brutal schedule, but we know how bad that team was going to be anyway. So I don't really feel too sorry for them. They could put up a lot more of a fight in a lot of these games, and they just haven't. And the situation just doesn't look good for the future there. Certainly a quarterback. So I have them at 29.
Yeah, the problem for them is that they need a quarterback, and they might not get the top pick because their defense is showing some life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they might still kind of be stuck without a Ty Simpson or a Fernando Mendoza type, depending on where the chips fall on that. I am looking at their schedule, though. Teams that I don't think are making the playoffs, they lost to the Cardinals. They beat the Giants. They beat the Panthers. That's the list. Like, the rest of the teams that they have faced
all
are probably
yeah.
going to the playoffs. Like the Bears, they lost to them, but they're 7-3. They could get in. Patriots, yeah. Seahawks, yeah. Niners, Bills. So that's maybe the one caveat for me. I'm going to change it after really looking at that schedule. I kind of want to put the Browns at 29 and the Saints at 28.
Maybe. But
the Giants aren't on my list, though. That's the one that's maybe a hot take. They're 2-9.
The Giants are on my list. They're 28.
You've got them?
Yeah.
So they beat out the Browns, being worse than the Browns.
Yeah.
Is where you're at.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's just there's still, I think, a lot of dysfunction. Coaching was an issue. I know that injuries ended up being an issue too. I think the Browns can kind of say some of that also. Like, I'm not saying the Browns aren't dysfunctional. It's very a thin margin between those two. I just went Giants because there were games that I feel like they could have won but didn't, and I do think you should be dinged for that, for being in position to win some games but not doing it.
I think that's fair. I think they fired the coach in part because of that, and in part because they did find their franchise quarterback, and he was trying to get him killed. And so that was part of the issue, but they've addressed that. And I think they've talked to Jackson Dart of like, you can't run like this anymore every time. So I feel like because they've got the quarterback squared away, I wanted to give him a little bit of credit for that. And I don't think, all due respect to Shedeur Sanders, Josina Anderson, please do not at me, but I don't think that the Browns have their franchise quarterback yet. We will, I think, see Shedeur on Sunday, but the Browns, I still think, are further away from being able to find it. I could squint and really see it with the Giants as early as next year. Get the right head coach, get Jackson Dart on the right path, Cam Scatterboot comes back, Malik Neighbors comes back. Suddenly, they're an offense with an identity and a defense that I think has talent to be able to be in the top half of the league defensively. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Giants make the biggest leap from a standings perspective, a win total perspective, year over year if they hire the right coach.
And that's a big if. You just don't know until you actually play the games whether he's going to work out. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. They've dug such a hole, and we'll see if they can at least take advantage of that by getting a big draft pick themselves. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. So you went with your 29, you went with the Browns, and then your 28 was the Saints?
Yeah, I found more favor with the Saints after I looked a little closer at their schedule. So I'm Titans are the worst, Jets 31, Raiders 30, Browns 29th, and the Saints are 28th. Honorable mention, shout out to the Giants, and I'm going to honorable mention, shout out the Falcons as well.
Yeah,
very
Falcons
disappointing.
Should be very lucky to be off this list right now. Jeez.
There's just so much suckitude.
Commanders too, man.
Yeah, the Commanders you can chalk up to the Jaden Daniels thing, but it's also like, it's not just that. Their defense has been pitiful. But the Falcons shouldn't be even close to this list, and they've lost 5 straight to get there. So I wanted to shout them out a little bit too.
Yeah, that's fair. If you want to call or text in with your bottom 5 NFL teams, you can do so at 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. As we continue to talk about that, we'll have our top 5 coming up at 525, our SEC football tiers at 505. But under the bus next, we have heard another coaching declaration of I'm not going anywhere. How much does it mean?
Is it our guy?
No, it's not. We'll get to that next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri back in the college football playoff rankings coming in 22. They're one of 9 SEC teams ranked this week. Missouri will play 8th ranked Oklahoma on Saturday. You can hear that one right here on KTGR. Beginning at 11 a.m., Yingling Tiger Game Day show starts at 8. Eli Drinkwitz said Matt Zollers, he plans on, will be the starting quarterback this week. We'll know more tonight. First edition of the SEC Student Athlete Availability Report will release tonight at 7:10 p.m. All Chiefs players were full participants at practice, with the excluding offensive lineman Kingsley Sumatiua and wide receiver Xavier Worthy. Chiefs will play the Colts noon on Sunday. Mizzou women's basketball defeated Southern Illinois by a score of 81-50 last night. Season high 30 points for guard Shannon Dowell. 2 games tomorrow at Mizzou Arena. The women will play Troy at 11:30. Men's team will play South Dakota tomorrow at 7. You can hear both of those games here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. Get your very own custom P platform. Mowing services are perfectly landscaped backyard today by calling Kretsch's Custom Exteriors 573-219-6011 or Kretsch'sCustomExteriors.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies tonight with lows falling down into the upper 40s. Tomorrow looking cloudy to start out the day. We'll see showers and storms spreading to the north, especially as we get into the evening. Temperatures make it up into the low 60s. Friday, count on rain throughout much of the day. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
2nd and 6 from the 28. Offset to the right is Hardy. Ball on the left hash. Hardy bounces it to the right side. Second level to the 40. Outside the right hash to midfield. To the 40 of Mississippi State. Foot race to the 20. To the 10. Angling back inside to the house. Touchdown Ahmad Hardy on an explosive run of 72.
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
You put in the fitness work, but just aren't seeing the results. In this month's issue of Inside Columbia magazine, learn how to be better able to meet your goals. Read about a brand new deli that really has Columbia chirping. And if you're looking for a new food spot or would like to see how an old favorite is faring, check out our lineup of best tastes in the dining guide. It's all inside Columbia magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it, or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
We're moving faster and faster these days with limited time to make an impact on potential customers. Hi, this is Jimmy at Pro Design. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked with companies to build strong brands. At Pro Designs, our team can create a vehicle wrap to drive market share, growth, and profits. Connect with your customers on the go, on the road, and on the job site.
Visit us on the web at PRODEZIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, Lenny. George, good to see you. Yeah, well, it ain't so good to see you, pal. I wish you'd kept quiet all those years. Family Pawn's got all the hunting gear people need to do exactly that. Bows, scopes, ammo, everything. Doing what, George? Look at you, mounted on the wall for everybody to see. Not gonna lie, George. I thought I like hanging around. Their fireplace feels real nice.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
I want to go to Family Fawn.
This is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants. I am truly honored to be voted Jefferson City's best, and that wouldn't have happened without our genuine and outstanding patients. We focus on continually serving those struggling with hearing loss with the best value in hearing aid technology in the area. If you are interested in a comprehensive hearing evaluation and solutions, please see us in Jefferson City. Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Okay, so is Steve Sarkisian trying to throw under the bus all the rumors around him and his future at Texas? There's a lot of discussion about him potentially going to the NFL. But it appeared today. He said those rumors are, quote, absolutely false and untrue, and that he is, quote, not going anywhere. All right. We shall see. But, like, do we believe him? Do you believe him, Brendan?
I do, actually. He was pretty emphatic. This was on the SEC teleconference on Wednesday. Reading the quotes, it really seemed like he wants people to stop talking about this and gave a lot of laundry list of reasons why he's like, I don't even normally like to address this stuff, but it's ridiculous. I got 2 kids here, another one hopefully coming. Like it's a whole thing for him that he seems pretty locked in Austin. I do believe him because I don't think there'd be no reason to take another college job. Like, what's the point? You're
well,
gonna
not
have
a college job, like NFL job.
No, I know, but
Right.
I'm starting with a college job. I'm saying, what would be the point of that?
Yeah.
There isn't one. NFL, yeah, you could, but I don't. Sounds like he's not interested. I do tend to believe him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he was in the NFL for a little bit at multiple places. So, I mean, I think eventually he could get there, but yeah, and like, I think the fact that Texas, like, it appears that they're now out of it. Like, they dropped to 17 last night in the CFP. They've got their 3rd loss. So even with a win over A&M, I think it's still maybe hard to wiggle through everybody else if you get that win. I guess it could happen, but I think
they're cooked.
Kind of a natural time, to maybe make sure you squash those rumors. Maybe an extension comes soon. I don't know, but that's I think you're right. So he, to the rumors, went
under the bus.
But again, like, he could still go. Like, again, I'm not going to make predictions emphatically one way or the other in any of this.
My naivete is about to be put to the test because I'm taking the coaches that say they're staying at their word.
Right.
I'll put Dillingham in that category, Brent Key in that category, and I will put Sarkisian now in that
Dillingham,
category.
By the way, like, I think
really
he could be gone. Yeah, like,
isn't he an Arizona
he's
State
also
guy?
kind of said stuff about like NIL and stuff about, hey, if you've got a restaurant and like, why aren't you naming one of your menu items after an Arizona State player? So like, he's kind of making the same type of NIL calls.
He's giving suggestions.
Yeah.
Eli Drinkwitz is going after Fortune 500s. I can't help with that. He's wanting the small business leaders in the community to step up. That could happen.
Yeah, I guess there's that. Also,
I don't own a Fortune 500.
No.
I wish I did.
That'd be nice, right?
Oh, dude. By the way, the Thunderdome can still happen, but like the NIL stuff has really taken off since then. I might just have to pay the players directly. Some of it'll go to Mizzou baseball too, but I don't know if I can afford the stadium because I'm looking at that $250 million renovation for football. I'm thinking, man, that could have bought a lot of players. We'll play on Stankowski Field if we have to. I mean, let's get the players in here. Shoot, man, if that's all it takes to keep Drink.
Hey, maybe it will. Who knows? But, we're glad that you're at least footing the bill on that, Brendan.
Yeah.
Under the bus also to Eetu Losterainen for the Florida Panthers. This is not well. I understand he is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion though, so
okay,
do that.
I'm going to own it, but I'm not sorry.
But you will know his name after the injury that he apparently suffered. He is out, as Paul Maurice, their head coach, characterizes week to week to the very unique nature of this. They've never handled something like this before. He apparently got injured in a barbecuing mishap.
That doesn't sound good.
I don't know if we have any other details other than barbecuing mishap.
Was he barbecued?
Don't know.
Was there a
some
poker
sort
incident?
Of burns from as it is called, a barbecuing mishap. I mean, my mind obviously goes to the Michael Scott scene where he burns his foot on the George Foreman grill, but I don't think it must have been that.
Wasn't the same. I mean, it would be hard to skate if you had a burned foot.
Yeah.
So maybe that is what happened.
Well, I don't know. I can't imagine what type of barbecue Losterainen's using here, but barbecuing mishap has put someone on the injury report, essentially.
I hope it was a really good steak or ribs or something. I hope it was worth
a brisket or something like that.
Yeah,
you still got to eat it afterwards.
That's my hope for him.
That's the hope for him. So
under the bus.
We'll see. Hopefully he's okay going forward after the barbecuing mishap. This is pretty cool. Mizzou Volleyball's Maya Sands has been named for the third time in a row the SEC Libero of the Year, as they came out with their essentially postseason awards today. The SEC Volleyball Tournament is coming back this year after a long hiatus. It'll happen this weekend. Mizzou's the 6th seed, but Sands has been locking down her position for many years now and becomes, I believe, just the third SEC volleyball player ever to win that award 3 years in a row. Congrats to one Maya Sands.
Heck yeah. I love to see those kind of stories highlighted as we continue to love all the programs.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see how they do in the SEC tournament. I think they still get an at-large bid in the NCAA.
Okay.
They've got a pretty good standing, it would seem. Maybe have to do some work over in Savannah, Georgia to lock it down. But they're going to be the 6th seed. They'll play on the second day, kind of a similar tiered bracket that you see in SEC tournaments year-round. SEC volleyball is going to bring its tournament back this weekend. So that'll be cool. And congrats to Maya Sands and the entire Mizzou volleyball team for this season. All right. The SEC football tiers will be updated on our ends as we return at 5:05. There's certainly been some movements. Like, how do we put teams like Texas and Alabama that suffered some pretty big losses this weekend? Not obviously the same situations, but that'll be an interesting update that we have coming up as we get down to the nitty-gritty of what the postseason picture could look like. And at 5:25, will the Chiefs be in either of our top 5?
Don't do a deep tease. Not going to be in mine. If they are, you will be responsible.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Be better than 5-5 and we can talk, but
I suppose we'll get to that coming up soon here on The Big Show. You can text in your top 5 NFL teams as well. Tell us where we're right and wrong, and your thoughts on the SEC football tiers, which we'll update next here on The Big Show.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, are sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70Towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
At Fuse 32 Marketing, creativity isn't just encouraged, it's essential. We're growing as a marketing agency, which means we're ready to grow our team of social and digital marketing specialists, graphic designers, writers, and producers. At Fuse 32, we elevate our clients' brands by creating bold branding strategies and bringing fresh ideas to the table. We are Fuse 32 Marketing, and we're always looking for the next wave of creators to join us. Fuse 32, there's nothing we can't do. Apply now at fuse32.com.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Nick DeLuca getting set for Week 12 in the NFL. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson did not practice today with an ankle injury. Lamar missed Wednesday practice last week before returning. Head coach John Harbaugh described this as a similar situation, but would not commit to Jackson's status for Sunday. Has been sacked an average of 3.2 times per game, the most in his 8-year career so far this season. Was sacked 5 times by the Browns last Sunday, including 4 times by Myles Garrett. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow listed as a full participant in practice today for the first time since suffering his toe injury in September. Head coach Zach Taylor saying Burrow playing in a game would have to follow 11-on-11 work in practice, which he has not done as of yet. The Browns are set to start Shedeur Sanders on Sunday against the Raiders. It'll be his first career start. Shedeur making his debut against the Ravens last week, went 4 of 16 for 47 yards and a pick. Will become the 42nd quarterback to start a game for the Browns since they returned to Cleveland in 1999.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
To the house. Push.
Back to the wall. And it's Goddard.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown. Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
So, with us only a week and a half away from the end of the college football regular season, we update our SEC football tiers, and it starts to get a little more clear as to who's at the top. So call or text us with who you want to see at the top in our tiers, 875-KTGR. That's 573-875-5847. We'll do that in a few minutes. We'll also have our top 5 NFL teams coming up here very soon as well. I had the Chiefs number 1 last time we did this. So are they still on my list? We shall find out at 5:25. Call or text us with yours again. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
So Mizzou football back into the latest edition of the college football playoff rankings. They slide in at number 22, one spot behind Illinois, which I think is kind of weird, but it really doesn't matter. A win over Oklahoma would definitely vault the Tigers up those rankings. No, it's not going to be enough. There is no scenario you could concoct that would convince me Mizzou is still in play for the CFP, but still a lot to play for, as we've talked about. And in that game at 11 a.m. in Norman, Oklahoma on Saturday, Bo Burbula could be playing. I don't know. We'll see. The first edition of the SEC availability report will come out later tonight. I am eager to see how Bo will be labeled on that. Chiefs lineman Kingsley Suamataia was a DNP today at Chiefs practice with a concussion. Xavier Worthy also didn't practice after Andy Reid said he tweaked an ankle during a morning walkthrough. That poor guy can just not get and stay healthy. And it might honestly be an underlying reason he hasn't been too productive recently, if we're being honest. The Chiefs, though, it is a must-win game against the Colts on Sunday. Anor Boateng, we think, will be eased back into action for Mizzou men's basketball with minimal minutes in tomorrow night's game against South Dakota, 7 p.m. at Mizzou Arena. What role he develops into will be interesting to see unfold because with the 3 guys that have missed the year so far, Boat, Trent Pierce, and Trent Burns, I do think the Tigers will need contributions from at least a couple of those guys to ultimately get where they want to go this year. We've got our top 5 NFL teams list being updated at 5:25. I had to put Billy's Titans at 32 in my bottom 5 last hour, but I'm growing seriously concerned about Andy's hints that he might be including the Chiefs in his top 5, despite their 5-5 record. Andy, if you do this, despite the fact that 16 teams have a better record than Kansas City, that would be shameful. I'll eliminate some of the suspense, though. Heck no, the Chiefs won't be in my top 5, but tune in at 5:25 to see if Andy stoops to new levels of homerism. So Bernie Miklasz in St. Louis posed this idea for how to get Mizzou football back to where it needs to be on an NIL basis. Stan Kroenke has to step up to the plate and save Mizzou football. That's kind of Bernie's suggestion. My question with this is, for the St. Louis-based Mizzou fans, would you forgive Stan Kroenke if he did kind of become the godfather of Mizzou football and get us to the promised land? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this out loud, but kind of.
Ooh, call or text us at 875-KTGR with how you feel about that.
Listen, I was the biggest St. Louis Rams fan you were going to find. It was painful for most of the years of my existence. I was kind of old enough to vaguely recall the Super Bowl that they won. But I've seen it kind of asked around Twitter, like, would you let bygones be bygones if old Enos came in and rescued Mizzou football from, maybe losing their coach or just the idea that they're not quite at the tippy top of NIL, make them, be in that top tier with your annual contributions some way or another and get Mizzou to the promised land. Would you forgive him for all that that happened in St. Louis. I don't think I'm allowed to say out loud that I kind of would, but Mizzou, look, without the Rams, Mizzou football, it's like I threw all of my caring about football, which used to be split between Mizzou and the Rams, and now it's all into Mizzou. So like, that would be a supercharged thing if it ever would happen for my sports fandom.
I mean, I was about to say, like, how do we know that he's not already?
We don't, is the honest truth. We don't.
I mean, maybe the comments that Eli Drinkwitz made saying that there's a misconception that we're at the top of, NIL spending. Maybe that's the indication. I don't know.
I don't think that's a Stan Kroenke point as much as it is like,
well,
it has been said that Mizzou is doing well with NIL.
I'm not saying it's a Stan Kroenke point. I'm saying that if Stan Kroenke were footing a lot of this bill, then maybe it's not something that Eli Drinkwitz says, because
he doesn't say that Stan's doing it, or
because if you're in fact implying that Stan Kroenke coming in and just being the Cody Campbell of Mizzou athletics, well, then there wouldn't be any issues when it comes to NIL here that the football coach would be trying to point out. And so, and the other thing is that, like, if he were doing that, I don't know if he would do that publicly. I don't think he would be as front facing as one Cody Campbell would be. So would we even know? That's
you may not know.
Yeah.
But my thought is that if Stan Kroenke is already donating some, which he may be, I agree with you that it would be private. I don't think it's on a level that, the Cody Campbell, that type of deal where it's like we're gonna throw our wallet on the table and say, like, this is what we're able to do. Now we're up here with the big boys. Right. I think when Drink said there's a misconception, honestly, I think it's his doing that he's done so well to get the legislature where it needed to be so that we could find the nooks and crannies with which to gain the advantage legally.
Yeah.
I think Drink spearheaded a lot of that. And so it may be part of the reason that people think, when they think NIL, they think, hey, Mizzou's doing great. I think largely they are, but like from a volume standpoint, is it on par with some of those elites of the elite, which is where you want to be if you're going to realistically have a chance to win a national championship? Probably not. And I would also make the case, and I don't know this to be true or not, but that we're kind of at a crossroads of the people who have been doing the NIL. Are they still going to keep doing it? Because it's a perpetual machine that you have to feed. It's not like it's just like you commit and then you're doing it forever. Like, we've been doing this for a few years. It's going well. But are we at that crossroads where it's like, okay, are the same people that have been doing it going to still continue to do it and re-up? Or is there some that say, haven't really gotten my results I was hoping to see as a Mizzou fan? Or, the head coach might be leaving, so then I dip out. Like, that would be my thought about the next era if Drink's not here, is like, if he was the one that was rallying the troops to get as much NIL as he did get, what happens if the next guy isn't quite as good of a salesman to the powers that be and he's not here? That would be a concern to me. But no, like, the Kroenke idea would just be just Scrooge McDuck amounts of money that we're right up there with the big boys to kind of make amends. I don't think he cares to make amends, though, is the problem with that. I don't think. But like I said, he might be donating anyway, and if he is, good for him. Thank you for the contribution. But it would not be probably a public thing, I wouldn't imagine.
Adam texts in, not even kinda. I absolutely would.
Yeah, and that's just how big of a Mizzou fan we are, I think, is what that says. I love the Rams. Do not get it twisted. It was very harmful, very hurtful when they left. But we're in the here and now, and that's been 10 years. And so I wouldn't forgive him. Like, I would still feel sad that happened, but I wouldn't talk about how much I hate him as often. Is that a fair way? Is that fair?
What a compromise.
Yeah. This is what I offer to you, Stan.
Hey,
you can
take
it or leave
it. Can't refuse, right?
I drive a hard bargain.
Hey.
I don't know if you know my business acumen, but it's funny.
Oh, man. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here. All right. Give us your updated SEC football tiers as we give ours now here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. All right, so on YouTube and on Facebook, you can see the updated tiers, mine being flashed up right here, but it reads A&M and Alabama at the top. The second tier has Ole Miss and Georgia. The third tier has Vandy, OU, and Texas. The fourth tier has Tennessee, Mizzou, and LSU. The fifth tier has Auburn and Mississippi State. The sixth tier has South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida, and the 7th tier has Arkansas by its lonesome. Brendan's tier at the top, A&M, Georgia, and Alabama. He has Ole Miss alone at 2 in the 2nd tier. 3rd tier is Vandy, OU, and Texas. 4th tier, Tennessee, Mizzou, and LSU. Same that I had. Kentucky and Mississippi State in the 5th tier. And then South Carolina, Florida, Auburn, and Arkansas all in tier 6.
I got tired of trying to separate all 4 of those at the bottom last week.
I mean,
I was
it
just
can
like,
be kind of pointless sometimes, but I understand. Yeah.
they're all duds.
But at the top, do you make changes at all?
So A&M almost lost to South Carolina, but they didn't. No, they're not out of my top tier for that. They played a bad half, and then they played a really good half, and it all worked out the way that you kind of figure it would when you're facing an inferior opponent at home. So that works out. Georgia, I feel pretty good about the fact that Georgia's in there the way they stomped Texas. So, I mean, I'm sitting pretty on that, but I do have to reckon with the whole Bama of it all now, don't I? Lost Oklahoma. They lost to them at home. Oklahoma's good. Oklahoma's good enough to be favored by over a touchdown to beat Missouri, and that's probably what's going to happen. Do I say by virtue of that loss that they're not a national elite contender? I guess I have to drop them a tier because they're not a shoo-in to make the playoff by any means at this point.
Oh, Alabama? No. They're on the edge. They're still in if it started today, but
you think they kind of got raw into the deal? I don't know. People are kind of talking about the way
Alabama
with respect to Notre Dame being
ahead of them. No,
yeah,
I don't think so.
Okay,
it stacked their losses against each other, and Alabama's got worse ones, or at least one worse one.
Stack their wins against each other, and what do you have?
I mean, that's fair.
Bama's got way more impressive wins.
They've got, Georgia outweighs pretty much anything that Notre Dame has.
Like Alabama beat Vandy, they're ranked very highly. Alabama beat Missouri, they're least ranked. I think there's one other ranked win that Alabama has to their name. Notre Dame beat Pitt. What else did they do? I don't know.
They beat Miami.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah,
is that what happened?
Oh no, they didn't. No, that's right.
I was pretty sure they didn't.
So they did not win that game. No. But look, I mean, I still think that when the committee looks at both of these teams' strength of schedule, it actually will work out pretty similarly. And so then you are weighing the wins and losses a little bit, and you're kind of splitting hairs. But to me,
I don't think so. Notre Dame beat USC and Pitt.
Yeah.
They have lost to 2 top teams. Totally get that.
Right.
Like Miami and Texas A&M are both in the top, whatever they're in, top 15, top 13.
Yeah.
But
Florida
Alabama
State's nowhere near any of this. That's a bad one.
That's a bad one. So we're basically saying one bad loss is outweighing the fact that you have easily the better top win, the better secondary win, the better 3rd and 4th wins. Because I don't feel like that's the argument you normally make. You normally make the argument of the wins matter. And in past years, that's kind of been your stance. And now you're saying the losses suddenly having the one loss outweighs all the really good wins. That's what a resume is. It's all of it combined together. That's the problem with the Notre Dame versus Miami conversation. People don't understand, how is Notre Dame ranked higher? Well, Miami has the bad losses, and they don't really have the wins to counteract it.
Except for the Notre Dame one.
That's a great win, but they have bad losses, and it's not on this. Their wins are not on the scale of Alabama's wins to make the argument that Miami should be up there above Notre Dame.
Right.
And I get it that it's a mind meld for people to go, how are you going to credit Notre Dame because their loss is a good loss to Miami, but you're not going to credit Miami for beating Notre Dame? That's not what's happening. You have to look at the additional data points of who the team's lost to. I just think in Alabama's case, they have won so many good, impressive games that it should outweigh a little bit more with the Notre Dame. But they got them above Miami, so that's fair and right. I just thought maybe I would flip Notre Dame and Alabama. I didn't think it was egregious, but I thought that was interesting.
I mean, some wins have not aged well for them. Wisconsin has not aged well. South Carolina has not aged well, and they just had to squeak by in that game.
Talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
What? Okay, so those are the ones that haven't aged well.
Yeah.
What about the ones that are against 4 ranked teams with their one of their losses coming to a top 10 team?
No, I'm not, and I'm not saying that they haven't aged well. I'm just saying
has the Purdue
that
win aged well for Notre Dame?
That.
How about the Arkansas win?
No,
what are we doing?
I understand.
Navy, Boston College,
Navy has
NC
aged well.
State.
Navy has
Stop
aged
me when
well.
you've seen one.
Stop. That's good. USC's
Navy?
good too. Yeah, Navy. The Navy could win.
I'll
the
give you
conference.
USC. I'll give you USC, but that's their
Navy
best
could
win.
be a playoff team. So, like, I don't think you're giving enough credit to some
crap.
of those other.
That's a bunch of crap.
What do you mean?
Navy is arguably, if you're trying to argue the strength of Navy, that's
Crushed
their third.
Navy too, 49-10.
That's their third best win behind Pitt and USC. We agree with that?
Sure.
Okay. The third best win for Bama is who? Because they've beaten Georgia, they've beaten Vanderbilt. Who else have they? Aren't there 4 ranked wins or 4 teams? The LSU win doesn't age, but that we kind of knew when that game was played that wasn't particularly
they
impressive.
have Mizzou on there.
Mizzou is number 22. Like Tennessee is ranked. That's the 4th one. They beat them by 17. It's not remotely close. The only thing bogging them down is having lost to Florida State.
Which
I think
that does drag it down quite a bit, though. Like, because Florida State's bad. But everything gets put together, Brendan. And
yes, Andy, 4 ranked wins.
Yeah.
And one of them is as good of a win as anybody has in the country.
Right.
Compared to USC's or Notre Dame beating USC and beating Pitt, who's now not ranked anymore.
Right.
That
game control does matter in this, though. Like, the game control can be measured, and
it's
Notre
ridiculous
Dame has,
that we're going to tout beating up on Purdue and saying that matters, but that's fine.
I mean, it does.
I don't know
this
what
is
to
another
tell
one.
You. I don't think you even believe what you're saying, but that's okay.
I do believe what I'm saying. Game control does matter in these, and it all gets considered. And so I'm not going to beat the drum, but I'm not going to also say the committee was completely wrong to do what they did.
I do not.
And with both teams in the field, like, so what? Like, come on.
Well, so what? Until something, conceivably can change based on other results. It's just going to be hard for those 2 Big 12 teams to bump above them because they've got BYU and Utah at 11 and 12, right? So that's where it gets. And
I don't know if I would justify putting Alabama below them,
But to your point, it matters because if one of them plays in the Big 12 championship and beats Texas Tech, then it could very well matter because do you sandwich Texas Tech as the last team in and the team that's currently ranked 10th is the first one out? So it matters.
I get it. I understand. It's just like, beat the teams that you're supposed to beat.
I don't have any other thought with that. I think it's outrageous. But anyway, I've got Alabama in my tier 2. I will bump them down. Long story short, Alabama, tier 2, Ole Miss, still in tier 2. What are you doing with your top tier? Because you didn't have Georgia
down.
You're finally going to join me, I assume.
Yeah, and Georgia will be with A&M, yeah.
Welcome to the party. Ole Miss, are they still in tier 2?
Yeah. I mean, beat the Citadel, but they should have.
Didn't cover. Should have covered.
So what?
I'm dropping them 3 tiers. They didn't cover.
Yeah. That seems like the necessary second tier. Now, does Oklahoma join this tier? I think is the question now.
Oh, man. It's a good win.
It is.
I don't think OU and Vandy are really that different. But they're going to be treated that different. One of them is going to make the playoff, and one of them's not. If the chalk holds here,
I mean,
I'll move Oklahoma up reluctantly. Respect your opponent. We do play him this week. Like they're going to be in the playoff if they win their next 2 games. So,
and look, they've taken care of the business that they need to with their backs against the wall, like going on the road to some tough places to play, and they can't lose again in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you win ugly, you should get credit for it.
Right.
And they're winning kind of ugly right now, but they're doing it against good competition.
Whereas Vanderbilt had the path in front of them clearly, and just it could not show up for the game that could really vault them towards that. And then also struggling to beat Auburn. Like,
yeah,
come on, what you doing?
I don't even know if I put so last year or last week, I should say, our third tier was Texas, OU, Vandy. I don't know if I take Vandy and Texas and put them in different tiers because I think both of them are in that tier of you're outside of the playoff. Like,
yeah,
even Texas having picked up an additional loss, I don't think those two teams are that different. And I'm not saying that complimentary in either case. I don't know if I can add a Missouri up to that tier. I don't think I can.
No,
I think I just have to kind of hold serve. I'm glad Mizzou handled Mississippi State, and it maybe reflects more about them than us. But yeah, I think Vandy, Texas is my third tier still. Like, I'm just moving OU up and leaving the other two.
I think that's right. And so I'll
We're
have
OU.
Right, I think we're pretty much the same on the top three tiers so far with 7 teams in. So now,
and they're the only teams in play still for a playoff bid.
Right.
Nobody else can get one.
Yeah.
Including us.
And so like Vandy and Texas like are just on the brink and they need a whole lot of help. They need chaos. Waiting for chaos, win some tough games that they still have left. Like Vandy's got to go to Tennessee. Obviously Texas has A&M left. Like you could win those and still give yourself a chance, but it's not going to be just based on your own play in those games.
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
We'll see what happens with that. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us with your SEC football tiers. Okay, after that, Mizzou was in the next tier along with Tennessee and LSU. I mean, I'm not going to change it, I don't think.
I'm going to drop LSU.
LSU won this past weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat Arkansas by a point.
By a point, that's true.
At home.
Struggle with them.
I just never thought they were good, and Tennessee's at least got a redeeming quality. I'm not even convinced that LSU... I mean, I guess their defense played pretty well to hold Arkansas to 22, but I think A&M, Georgia, obviously national contenders. Alabama, Ole Miss, OU probably going to the playoff. Vandy, Texas, really good, just not quite good enough to go to the playoff. Missouri and Tennessee are good teams this year. LSU is the middle. They might be the only team in their tier, the way that I have it ranked out. They're just mid. Yeah. Decisively mid.
See, I think they've been more competitive within the conference. And so I'd like to put them in that similar tier to Mizzou and Tennessee. It's been by the very thin margins though, and you're right. Like that Arkansas was up 14 in that game and should have finished the job. LSU didn't really put up a fight against A&M. That was the game that got obviously Brian Kelly fired. I mean, it's nobody really impressive that they have beaten, but that's kind of the same thing with Mizzou and the same thing with Tennessee. Like their wins have come against the teams that they should win against. And so like I'm going to not necessarily ding a team that has at least gotten the job done against the competition that they should get it done against. So I think that this is the hold serve tier for me in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made that they just had, a tougher schedule. They've got an additional difficult game compared to what Missouri has had, but they're going to go 7-5 based on that. And we could, as long as we keep handling our games, we'll go 8-4. Yeah. So it's not that different, but I'm going to be punitive just for a week. Okay. Because I want to change it up.
LSU is still in my 4th tier. And you'll put them in a tier of their own. All right. So I have Mississippi State and Kentucky in this tier.
Mississippi State kind
of, they fell off. They did not.
I can't put LSU and Kentucky in the same tier, but I do think Mississippi State, I don't know what to do with them.
I mean, I think they and Kentucky should be in the same tier, but the question is, should there be teams that join them as a result of them looking so bad? Oh man.
And where does Auburn go in all this?
That's where that's the team that I'm stuck on because I've already covered
they played pretty well against Vandy. Auburn, to their credit, has never really been blown out by anybody.
Yeah, man.
All year long. They played a tough schedule. Nobody's blown them out.
And
10-point loss to Georgia is the most.
You can even say things to that degree. I mean, not against everybody, but like Kentucky only lost to Ole Miss by a score. They took Texas to overtime. They've been close also.
It's almost like it's a decent conference.
Well, yeah,
SEC
I mean,
just means more.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but they got popped by Tennessee. And by 21 by Georgia. So they've had a couple of.
Well, but I mean, Mississippi State's been popped a few times. I'll say that this is the close but no cigar tier in a lot of different ways. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Auburn. And like all of those teams have the chance to get to bowl eligibility, but they're going to have to pull off an upset to get there or two. And so it's kind of where I go with that.
Yeah, I thought about actually putting Auburn in the same tier as LSU, but they just haven't really won enough to do it. So I think I'll match you there. Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Auburn are going to be in a tier. And the only difference I have is LSU has got its own little tier 5 by itself.
Okay.
And I wanted to put Arkansas and South Carolina in separate tiers because I wanted to punish South Carolina for how they blew that game. But I think it's appropriate. Arkansas and South Carolina are both in the bottom.
You need to put Florida somewhere, though.
Oh, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, then let me do that. I'll shout out Auburn this week and move them into the tier with LSU, and I'll put Florida into the tier with Mississippi State and Kentucky.
So my bottom tier is Florida, Arkansas, and South Carolina.
No love for the Gators, huh? They played it close against Ole Miss, kind of.
Yeah, but when was that?
This week.
I guess so.
They still lost by 10. Technically covered, I think, barely.
Yeah, because they got 11.5, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, losing 38-7 to Kentucky still stings.
Yeah, no, it does.
I'm not gonna give much credit for that.
That's fair.
So that's my bottom tier, and they're not going to bowl game either. So like that's just it's been a rough year.
That's fair too. Arkansas and South Carolina is my bottom tier. Florida, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and then I'll give Auburn a little bit of temporary love. They'll join LSU in purgatory.
So give us your SEC football tiers 573-875-KTGR, and tell us what you think about our tiers at the moment, and we'll get to more of your calls and texts on it, as well as our top 5 NFL teams next. You're on The Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are knowledgeable car people, great folks to work with, and they make sure you get a great deal, too. If you head over to leestirecompany.com, you can check out all of the great rebates that you can get on select tires. And if you're in the market for new tires right now, well, now's a great month to do it because Lee's Tire Company, all throughout the month of November, is giving you a free front-end alignment if you buy 4 new tires. So not only are you getting a top-notch crew to find the right tires for your vehicle, but you're also getting that free front-end alignment. Again, good through the end of this month. So head into Lee's Tire Company to take advantage of that now. And on top of that, their work is backed up by a 36 months, 36,000 miles nationwide warranty. Keeps you safe on the road, keeps you safe in your wallet as well. Head into Lee's Tire Company. There are 2 locations in Columbia, one on the Business Loop, another one at University Garage right by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia, or online at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
College football is all about the next generation. Fresh talent, big plays, new energy every season. That's the same approach behind Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. Just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories with real beer flavor that keeps up from kickoff to the post-game recap. So whether you're tailgating or celebrating a win, make Flight your go-to. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
If you're tired of telling that one guy that, yes, meetings are mandatory, and you're done doing so-and-so's projects because, well, they just couldn't get to it, then maybe it's time to revamp your team with MidmoHires.com. Post your open positions along with a description of the job, pay, location, and other info too. You don't have to put up with someone's shenanigans for much longer. Post your openings now at MidmoHires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. MidmoHires.com.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing. Our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop caldiescoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. Award-winning auto collision repair. Don't wait, we're great. We work with all insurance companies. We work with all insurance companies. Yes, we work with your insurance company. New Bloomfield, Missouri. FPPBodyShop.com. 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 Fletcher, Performance and Paint.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, this is Jimmy with Pro Designs, and maybe you've heard, we're the vehicle wrap specialists, but branding your business doesn't stop there. At Pro Designs, we can wrap your walls, windows, even floors.
Go to ProDezigns.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Give us your thoughts on the SEC football tiers, 875-KTGR. Graham texting in, SEC is as dominant in football this year as it was in basketball last year. I think it's hard to do that because that was like not a fair matchup between the SEC and other conferences in basketball last year. Like they were head and shoulders above everyone.
Yeah.
Like you can.
I don't think I quite agree this year.
This year it's a little closer together.
Yeah. Wait, was the comparison that football this year is like basketball last year?
Is like basketball last year.
No, because I don't think you have, like you had, well, how many teams like Auburn and Alabama were both two of the top 4 in the country? I guess Florida. You kind of have that with A&M and
Florida was there too.
Yeah, Florida, obviously Florida. Yeah, you had like 3 of the top 5 in the country probably.
Yeah.
Or of the top 6 or 7, and now I think you've got A&M, you've got Georgia, but like I think as good as Alabama and Oklahoma are, I don't know for sure that they're, that they're top 5 or 6 in the country. Like Indiana and Ohio State are very real. Texas Tech is to be contended with, and so I think it's close. And as you get down the list a little bit, there were how many teams that were NCAA tournament teams from the SEC? Was it like 12 or 13?
12.
It was a ridiculous number.
Or was it 12? Or
I think it was
14?
12 or 13. If you get to like the 13th best team in the SEC this year, you're talking about teams that aren't going to make a bowl.
Yeah.
And like which I get, like you have to play the SEC competition, but even some of those teams in basketball were picking off some of the really good teams to be able to get to their NCAA tournament bid. I don't think it's quite there, but I hear you. The SEC is still a very deep league, and I do think it's just head and shoulders better than like the ACC. People complaining that Mizzou is ranked 22, and it's like I get it that we haven't really beaten anybody, but you have beaten the teams you're supposed to beat, and the teams that are tough to beat. 2 of them you came within a pretty close distance, and I don't care about your ACC teams that have 6 or 7 wins because they suck. They just aren't any good.
Well, the ACC this year doesn't have the argument. You could say last year they did, but
like they've got teams with 7 wins. They've got the Wake Forest.
I would say that like there was an account that tweeted out like, oh, the 7-3 ACC teams are all better than Mizzou, and it's not even close. Like that was the assertion. Like I think that's a wildly bad one. I will say though, like I would love to see the game between Mizzou and Pitt or Mizzou and Louisville. I think those would be really good games. I don't know who I would predict to win them. I would take Mizzou to crush Louisville, and it wouldn't be close. Pitt, I think we could lose to Pitt. Pitt's a good team.
Now that they have their quarterback, their record doesn't indicate it because they didn't start this kid at the beginning.
Right. But like the other teams in that group were SMU and Wake.
Mizzou would beat Wake Forest by 20. Like, give me a break.
I mean, I hope so. The Wake Forest did beat them in a bowl game not too long ago. But
if we end up playing them in a bowl game, that's gonna suck.
Don't care what you wish for, buddy.
Without our coach, without it, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, let's calm down on that. But I agree
we
that
beat them by 20.
Like the whole thing of them being not even close, like they're so much better. Like that's not true at all. So yeah, go ahead and think that. But the ACC this year is it's wild that they say that when their highest ranked team, Miami, is not even going to be in their conference championship game this year. So when you accuse the committee of propping up teams to build up the stature of other teams in the conference, well, look in the mirror. Like the team that's not going to be in your conference championship game is the one that's being propped up. And so that's really great. Like Miami showed up as the number 11 team in the bracket, but they're not going to be there because they're not going to win their conference. Because
they can't. They won't have access to it.
Well, but I mean, the only way they can get in is as an at-large, and I just don't think they're going to break through as an at-large. They're just not.
You're going to there'll be Mizzou fans this weekend. I'll tell you that. Yeah. I mean, you're going to need Oklahoma to take a loss or Bama to lose the Iron Bowl, something like that.
You need chaos, but
yeah,
we'll see. All right, NFL top 5 teams. I guess should we make it more suspenseful and start at the top? With that
might be true because everybody's wondering. Well, hell, if we start at the top, you might be liable to say Chiefs first, knowing you.
I might be. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Okay. So start. Yeah, go ahead and start at the top, and assuming that you don't say Chiefs as the next team out of your mouth.
No, I won't.
I think I had the Chiefs at number 1 last time too, though. I'm looking back at my list, so you weren't alone.
It was we could project out and see if they could get those wins, but they just didn't.
We got to stop projecting out for the Chiefs.
Yeah, we got to
look at them for what they're doing.
That's very true.
SDP.
All right, so who is your top team?
Obviously the Patriots. No, I'm just playing.
I hope not. Jeez.
No, not the Patriots. But I might have to really fully capitulate on a team that I didn't have in my top 5 last time. I had the Eagles as an honorable mention. I have been really impressed by what the Eagles are doing defensively, and I think offensively they'll come around, and there's time to do so because they are just like pounding the teams like the Packers and the Lions into paste. Those are especially the Lions, an offense that should be a lot better. So I'm going to be like crazy overreaction guy and say, man, the Eagles right now look like the best team in the NFL because of what they're doing on that side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball.
It's been impressive. They're my top team too. I agree. And look, both sides, they have the run game still to win in the postseason. It's exactly what you need. Like the only reason why people might ding them is because there's just a whole bunch of drama. And like, so what? They go out there between the lines, they pound teams into the dirt. So
yeah,
like that's all you ask for. I think Eagles fans can deal with that as long as they're winning games. So I have them at the top team too. Yeah, we agree. Second team.
I got the Rams. I feel pretty good about this as well.
I love the Rams, man. Like
Rams, Eagles, NFC Championship would be a lot of fun to watch.
It's like that game that they played not too long. Well, it was a while ago, but the Rams have just been. I've been impressed by their turnaround defensively, and yeah, Matt Stafford. I think
he's going to win the stupid MVP. Right. And it sucks.
It does, but
Drake May. Come on,
correct.
I think right now it's fair for him to be on that tier. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who's your third best team?
Boy, this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't like, if you want to look at records, the Patriots are 9-2, the Colts are 8-2,
yeah.
The Broncos are 9-2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really particularly want to say any of those. I want to say the Bills is what I want to say. They're 7-3.
Yeah.
But I want to say am I allowed to say? I kind of want to say the Bills. It's kind of like we did with the Chiefs the last time, projecting out. I'm projecting out that the Bills are going to figure it out. They're going to get their bleep together. So yeah, I'll lock it in. Bills.
So we're going to project out with the Bills, but not the Chiefs. Okay. All right.
Well, one of them's 7-3, one of them's 5-5.
One of them's won like however many Super Bowls, and one of them's
that's fine. That's not this year's team. You have to accept them for what they are right now.
But like we've thought that at the middle of the year before, and
they're 5-5 though.
So okay,
it's in those years I would have said no. They're not a top 5 team in the NFL. They're not a top half record in the NFL. Like that's just a fact.
They're in the mix though. All right, so
top half record.
Yeah. So
they're 17th.
Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'm going to put at number 3. I'm putting the Colts at number 3.
Okay.
Because, and I think it's mostly due to what you need to win in the postseason, and it is a solid defense and a solid run game.
I think their defense is a mirage.
Interesting.
I think I trust the Broncos more than I do the Colts, actually, because I think their defense is actually pretty good.
Well, the Broncos defense, sure. I believe that the Colts are more apt to deal with the situations that could be thrown their way in the postseason. Because all credit to what the Broncos and the Patriots have done to this point. I know Bo Nix was in the playoffs last year, but I don't know how they'll deal with being the hunted. So I'm not ready to put them there yet. Meanwhile, I just think the Colts are really well coached. I think if you give the ball to Jonathan Taylor consistently enough that you're never going to be out of a game, and things just seem to be lining up really well with how they've put together this record. So I'm going to put them 3.
All right. I don't think I'll have them in my top 5. I think there's other NFC teams that I would rather put in over them.
Like?
I'm honestly straining to find a second AFC team to put in there. Because I think the Bills right now are the one I feel the best about. The Patriots, Colts, and Broncos are all really good teams. There's no question about that. I do start to think about playoffs, though, at this point in the year. And do I trust any of them in the playoffs? Not really. Like, as much as I joke about the Chiefs thing, it's possible that I would have the Chiefs in my top 8 or so. You know what I mean? Where, like, some of these, like the Colts probably wouldn't be in my top 8. They might be like number 9. But if I'm talking about NFC teams, I'll just talk through my last 2 spots here out loud. I want to give credit to the Seahawks because they just barely lost to the Rams, and I think they're really good. And I don't see a way that I can leave them out of my list, so I'll just probably put them here at 4, if I'm being honest. Okay. And then my number 5 comes down to the Broncos. I think of the current division leaders, I think I would defer to the Broncos more because the one thing they at least do have is they're beating teams that we thought were really good. They beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, and they also beat the Chiefs. So the Broncos are my next AFC team. I don't know if I can keep out the Lions as my number 5. I know it's topsy-turvy. I know they're not even a playoff spot right now, but they are 6-4. And I'm deferring on, they're a little bit closer to the pack for me to be able to defer on what I believe to be true about them than I can get myself to do with the Chiefs. So my consternation is Broncos or Lions at number 5. You give me the rest of your list because I'm not ready to commit yet.
Colts are at 3. I have the Bills at number 4.
Okay.
And I have the Seahawks at number 5.
The Seahawks we both agree on. Like, we can't just overreact to they lost by 2 on the road.
No, man. Covered the
They
spread.
played so well.
They'll win that next game against the Rams when they host them.
Do you think so? They very well could.
Yeah.
I hope they do because that might hurt Stafford's MVP chances.
Maybe. We'll see. I just, they've been wildly impressive with the rise they've had.
They're nasty on defense, and they pummel people, too.
Yeah,
like
they got the exact right coach for what their needs were, and it's paid off. Like, sometimes that move just doesn't pay off the way that NFL organizations hope when they hire new head coaches. But it has gotten everything in line with what they needed, and now they're in position to do some special things this year and be a very dangerous 5 seed once they get to the postseason. So I have them at number 5. So, yeah, I mean, you have the Lions in there. I have the Colts in there.
I considered putting the Broncos. I really still am thinking about it, but I'm also kind of looking at the Lions' upcoming schedule, and I think they can start moving people again. They play the Giants this week at home. They host the Packers on Thanksgiving. They host the Cowboys thereafter. So I'm kind of saying maybe the Lions are 9-4 the next time we're doing this.
Could be very interesting.
Yeah, screw the Broncos. Lions are my number 5.
There you go.
One AFC team. It's the Bills.
Man, could we have guessed that? And that's not even a team that's winning their division. My goodness.
No, and I think I put a team that's not making the playoffs in the current standings.
It wasn't
the Lions
even the
are
Chiefs.
Come right on. Now. If I were to keep going on my list, I think I'd go Broncos, Broncos number 6, and like the Chiefs would end up in like the top 7 or 8 or so.
Yeah. Okay.
Chiefs might be
thing.
7.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can actually prove to be
and the Chiefs
worthy of that.
The Chiefs, if we did this right before the playoffs begin, regardless of the seeding, I'll probably still have the Chiefs higher than the Broncos. But today it's hard to do.
No, I get it. It's hard to do that right after this past weekend. But
Yeah.
give us your list. 875 KTGR here on the Big Show. You want to weigh in on our top 5 NFL teams. Get some of your calls and texts after that, after this live local sports center.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. Your sports center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri football back to the college football playoff rankings at number 22 after their win over Mississippi State this weekend. They're one of 9 teams from the SEC ranked in the latest edition of the poll. Mizzou will play 8th-ranked Oklahoma on Saturday. You can hear that one right here on KTGR beginning at 11 a.m. The Yingling Tiger Game Day show will start 3 hours prior at 8 a.m. All Chiefs players were full participants at practice today with the exception of offensive lineman Kingsley Suamatiua and wide receiver Xavier Worthy. These sit at 5-5. They'll play the 8-2 Colts at noon on Sunday. Hear that one from Arrowhead. Over on our sister station, KCMQ 96.7. Missouri women's basketball last night defeated Southern Illinois by a score of 81-50. Season high 30 points from guard Shannon Doyle. 2 games tomorrow at Mizzou Arena. The women will play at 11:30 against Troy, and the men will take on South Dakota at 7 p.m. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Crutch's Custom Exteriors. Get your very own P-platform mowing services or perfectly landscaped backyard today by calling Crutch's Custom Exteriors 573-219-6011 or CrutchesCustomExteriors.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies tonight with lows falling down into the upper 40s. Tomorrow looking cloudy to start out the day. We'll see showers and storms spreading to the north, especially as we get into the evening. Temperatures make it up into the low 60s. Friday, count on rain throughout much of the day. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. M-I-Z. Marching Mizzou. And of course,
To the house!
the traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. The Tigers head to Norman to take on Oklahoma. Our coverage begins at 9 a.m. on your home for Mizzou football.
We are
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has drink specials and discount happytizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Father Tolton's soccer defender, Weston Palmer, who scored the game-tying goal against Southern Boone in a 2-1 victory, helping the Trailblazers to their second district championship in 3 years.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too.
My name is Josh Arnold, and I've been working at Zimmer Communications for over 5 years. When I first started at Zimmer, I was really impressed at all of the resources that they have available to you to succeed. I started at this job right out of college. I think I learned more here my first 3 to 6 months than I did in all of my time in my schooling at college. Working at Zimmer Communications, you really feel like you're part of a team. You don't feel like you're pitted against one another. It's a really fun atmosphere that allows me to excel in my job.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Sons of insects, I am Barrett the bedbug. So I've heard. I've also heard he bites humans by the hundreds, and if he were here, he'd wreak havoc amongst the bed sheets. I am Barrett the bedbug, and I see a whole army of ants and rodents, spiders and bedbugs here, in defiance of those who walk upon two legs. You've come to invade as free bugs, and free bugs you are. What would you do without freedom? Will you invade? Aye, scary, and you'll live, but dying in your nests many days from now. Would you trade all those days for one chance, just one chance to come back here and tell the humans that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom? Oh, is that Steve? Never mind, scary!
I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We will eliminate your pest problem and stop the fall pest invasion. I guarantee it.
Steve's Pest Control. The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Jace texted in his top 5 NFL teams to 875-KTGR. He says Broncos, Bills, Patriots, Colts, Eagles. It's very AFC heavy. See, I don't view it that way this year.
Me either.
The top of the NFC right now is better than the top of the AFC. Now you can argue, I don't know what the best conference top to bottom is between those two, but I think there's more upside, like more Super Bowl upside with several teams in the NFC right now than what you're seeing in the AFC, because these teams are all unproven that are at the top.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say the Patriots or the Colts are going to make a run to the Super Bowl and maybe win it. Like, if they do that, I'll be doubting them every step of the way, I think, as much as I do appreciate, the jobs that both those teams are doing. And you can throw the Broncos into that conversation as well. I've said what I've said about, I think by the time you get to it, if the teams like the Bills and the Chiefs, and even if the Ravens are in that spot, if they're playing on the road in the wild card round, I think they'll be favored as a road team. So that tells you kind of where I'm at on these AFC teams. And I don't even know, Andy, if they all get to 13-4, if I'll even really feel that different. If they're 15-2, maybe I'd have to capitulate a little bit. But if they're 13-4, it's like, yeah, you probably had last place schedule. The Patriots did. The Colts didn't have a super tough schedule, I don't think.
No.
Broncos, same thing. I mean, that was they made the playoffs, so their schedule probably a little tougher. But
third place schedule, though, they were third place still in the division. So
yeah, I guess they were, because the Chargers were ahead of them.
Yeah.
So that kind of explains some of that,
And look, credit to them, that they've beaten some teams that they have better rosters than, and that doesn't always happen in the NFL. I mean, I think we do get a misconception of the rosters being wildly different. They are all very highly paid professionals, and the margins between the best and worst NFL teams are much smaller than the best and worst college football teams, like we argue over and over. So it's just that you do have to take it as an any given Sunday type of thing. And so when you work up to those records, that is to be commended. But when you stack up what some teams have had to deal with, like the Eagles already and the Rams, for being playoff teams last year and being either first or second in their division, and they get tougher schedules because of that. Well, that's more impressive what they've done to work to essentially the same record. And I think you can also kind of see that with the Seahawks to a degree, with how they've won their games. It's just they've gone on the road and done some really tough things.
And the third place team in that division of the West is the Niners, and they are a team
They have an argument.
angling to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they'd be in it as of today. They're 7-4. So there's a lot of really good, solid teams in the NFC. There's no doubt about that.
And it's why I feel that, Detroit's in some trouble if they can't get that division because they're not leading it right now. Chicago's leading it. So
That's not going to hold. I don't think anybody thinks that's going to hold. No, the Packers are a team I had ranked pretty highly in my last top 5. And I just didn't include them this time because it's just like, it seems like every week, even when they do come away with the win, we're having to just kind of squeak it out. They eked it out against the Giants. They eked it out against the Cardinals back in October. They lost to the Panthers and the Eagles. They haven't been nearly as dominant as I think I want them to be. But they're going to get every opportunity to prove they're as good as they say they are or as they think they can be because they host the Vikings, they go to the Lions, and then they host the Bears. So, it's all divisional for them the next 3 weeks. And then it's Broncos. I mean, the schedule, Andy. And then it's Bears and Ravens before you wrap up with the Vikings.
It's a tough stretch.
They don't have a game left that I would be like, oh, yeah, easy peasy.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
They could beat the Bears twice, and I wouldn't be stunned by that. They'll beat the Vikings. I'll give them those 3. They play the Vikings twice. I'll give them those 4.
What's dragging them down is the Browns and the Panthers beat them.
Yeah,
and they tied the Cowboys.
They tied, them. So there's not going to be a tiebreaker in that scenario,
right?
Unless it's with the Cowboys,
which it won't.
That's the part where it's you won't care about any of your strength of whatever.
Yeah, right.
But their divisional games are honestly easier than Lions, Broncos, Ravens. They need to go 4-3 in that stretch, and I don't know if they're going.
It's going to be very tough. Lots of intrigue in the NFC. In the AFC, it's good to see those teams at the top, but unproven. We'll see if they can prove some more. Thanks for joining us today. We're back at 4 tomorrow. He's Brendan. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
I'm Michael Agnew with API